Hello everyone and welcome. So this is going to be a nice good video here about jazz fusion. Most of y'all know what jazz fusion is. For those that you don't know, it's kind of a combination of a fusion of rock and jazz together. And one of the main things you notice with a lot of these jazz fusion records is the guitar playing. Like say for instance on this record, Bill Connors, who is just so phenomenal on the guitar on here. And just for example, who's on this Stanley Clarke record here? Number one, probably my most favorite jazz fusion record is this record here. It's 1974, Stanley Clarke, who he's with Return to Forever, and he went off here and he did a solo record. Now, Jan Hammer's on here. Anytime you see Jan Hammer on a record like that with this kind of year, this is going to be fusion. He is so good. Tony Williams on the drums, folks. Doesn't get any better than that. Bill Connors on the guitar. Of course, Stanley Clarke is playing the bass, electric and acoustic bass. Phenomenal record. Like I was saying before, one of the differences you'll notice with these fusion records, the electric guitar is prominent, and it's got the big old great guitar solos like rock does. A lot of these jazz records, especially bop, hard bop, the guitar's kind of in the background and they're kind of just, strumming away, picking a little bit here and there. But not like on the fusion records. The drummers are more aggressive. The keyboards are more aggressive. It's just a more aggressive style within a jazz type of a theme. Number two, we talked about Return to Forever. This is Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy. And Return to Forever is Bill Connors, Chick Corea, Stanley Clarke, and Lenny White. And Al Di Meola as well. Al Di Meola plays a lot on the electric guitar. But see, Connors is on this one. Bill Connors is on this record. And we all know how good the guitar work is on this record, right? So, Stanley got Bill to come over and do this record. But Al Di Meola is more known for his work with... And this one gets a little bit more rocky. He's got a few things in here. What's the name of that song? I could see if I can see it. Excerpt from the first movement of heavy metal. Yeah, you might think that's kind of a heavy duty song, and it is, right. But what a great record that they put here together. Stanley Clarke, Lenny White's on the drums, Al Di Meola, like I said, is on the electric guitar, and Chick Corea, rest in peace, he just passed here this last month, I think. Acoustic piano, electric piano, Yamaha organ, synthesizers. Yeah, he's a great keyboardist. Chick Corea, great. And again, it's that same kind of theme. Kind of get that more of aggressive guitar work with a lot of great kind of jazz piano going on in there. And that's what Jan Hammer's really good at that as well. And Billy Cobham is a really good jazz drummer, but he did a lot of good fusion records back in the early 70s, and this is one of them. Billy Cobham, Spectrum. Nice first edition gatefold record. And now on this one, we've got Tommy Bolin's on the guitar. That's right. You got Tommy Bolin. Everybody knows Tommy Bolin's kind of a rock kind of guitar player. And he's so good on this record. He's so good. Again, Jan Hammer's on here, right? Electric piano and the Moog and synthesizer, and Lee Sklar's on the bass. And of course, Billy Cobham's on the drums. So again, lots of really, really good guitars. The drumming is so good. The Jan Hammer's going crazy on the keyboards. Wow, Billy Cobham, Spectrum. One of my top 10 favorite jazz fusion records. This will be number 5. Another Billy Cobham record called Moon Germs. Total Eclipse, I should say. But my favorite song is Moon Germs. Billy Cobham, Total Eclipse. Look at that picture. I mean, that's a cool record cover there, folks. Right? That is great. What a great record cover. And they got Jan Abercrombie on the electric guitar. They got the Brecker brothers, right, playing the flute, saxophone, tenor saxes, and Glenn Ferris on trombones, tenor, and bass trombones. So you got lots of, you got trombones, you got flute, soprano sax, tenor sax, trumpet. You got lots of stuff. You got keyboards on here. Michael Levy and Alex Blake's on the electric bass, and of course Billy Cobham's on the drums. What outstanding guitar work, and the horns are so good. See, you don't get a lot of, this is the thing about this, a lot of kind of a jazz oriented, the styles and the horns, the sections and that. It doesn't sound like Chicago, it's just because they got horns and electric guitar. No, this has got that jazz influence in it. So cool. It's just cool music, folks. Number 6, Herbie Hancock Headhunters. And this is my AP reissue. Quality record press, 200 gram vinyl. Look at how beautiful the covers are, right? Nice and glossy and shiny. But it's not a gatefold, but it is 200 grams. And here's your... Now this is kind of like a new age kind of a fusion, funk stuff. But it's not guitar oriented at all. Saxophones. It's mostly Herbie Hancock going crazy on that synthesizer, his stuff. And a lot of different effects. Marimbas, clavinets. A lot of people know about this record. If you're not sure, look it up on YouTube. I think you'll be very impressed. What a great record this is. Number 7 is Donald Byrd, Ethiopian Nights is the name of the record. Not sure where it says that, but it says Ethiopian Nights. Donald Byrd. This is my first original press that I bought of this. I bought it, I think it came out in 72 or 3. That's when I bought it. Probably 74 is when I bought it. And a lot of folks on this record. Donald Byrd's a trumpeter. That's what he plays. He plays trumpet. And he plays on lots of hard bop records. Harold Land on the tenor sax. Thurman Green on the trombone. Bobby Hutcherson's on the vibes. Don Peaks on the guitar. David Walker's on the guitar. Greg Porey's on the guitar. William Henderson III's on the piano. Joe Sample is on the organ. Now remember Joe Sample, because he's going to come up again here in a little bit. Great organ player. Great jazz organ player. Wilton Feeder on bass and Edward Green's on the drums. I need to listen to this record probably today. Again, I haven't listened to it for a while. Great record. One of the records that got me into jazz. This was kind of a transition for me. I got into this stuff, and then I said, well, hey, Donald Byrd. I saw that Byrd in Flight record. But a couple of years later, I said, I'll buy that because I know Donald Byrd's good. That's how you do. You recognize names, and then you keep going. Deodato Whirlwinds. Here's some great music right here. Of course, Deodato plays the organ. And see what else is on. Who else is on here? Of course, John Tropea is on the guitar. And I got Billy Cobham on the drums. Bass, John Glevin and Tony Levin. And even Deodato's even doing some percussion on here. You got, look at all the trumpets. You got 1, 2, 3. John Faddis is on trumpet here. Spencer, Rubin. You got 6 trumpeters, 2 French horns, 2 trombones, a tuba. You got Tony Price on tuba, flutes and saxophones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Violins, a bunch of violins, viola, cello. You got 3 cello players on the record. And it's a kind of a fusion, because when John Tropea starts doing those long extended guitar solos, it just, your face melts. Really, really good record. It's probably one of my favorite. These are like some of my favorite records, all the ones that I'm showing, like top 10 jazz fusion records. Here's another Deodato record, Prelude. Again, this is from the 72, 73 era. And see who's on this one. And these are all recorded, this is all that recorded at Van Gelder Studios, mixed by Rudy Van Gelder. And this is, CTI records, right? Creed Taylor's doing these records. They're really good. I'm not seeing just on the credits for that. Oh, over here on this side. We got John Tropea on guitar, and Ron Carter's on the bass. Stanley Clarke's on the bass. You got some good folks here, people. Jay Brinliner's got a guitar solo on here as well. Billy Cobham's on the drums. This is why I see all this. I go, this has got to be good, right? You got 2 percussioners. You got 3 trumpeters. Trombones, you got 3 trombones. You got 2 French horns again. Hubert Laws is on the flute on here. Violin, you got a bunch, 7 violin players. 2 violas, so 3 cellos again. Yeah. Lots of great orchestration. Really big production values. You've got all those people playing on your records. And all the great jazz fusion greats on there. Good record. Really, really good. This goes to Whirlwinds. And number 10 on the list, not in any order because this is a great record, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Birds of Fire. Right? Great. Who's on this? Who's doing all the stuff on this one? Of course, we know that John McLaughlin, he's your guitar player. Very good guitar player. Rick Laird on bass. We got Billy Cobham on the percussion again. Jerry Goodman's on the violin, I should say. Jerry Goodman, remember that name again. He's going to come up. Jerry Goodman and Jan Hammer's on the keyboards, folks. Remember I tell you, you get Billy Cobham on the drums, you get Jan Hammer playing the keyboards. It's just people, and McLaughlin. This is my favorite John McLaughlin record because certain players, even you notice it especially in jazz, certain people have a heavier influence on the whole, and they bring up other folks' game a lot. And when you got a really great guitar player, really great keyboard, you got good, and everybody's just trying to outdo the other one, man, the record blows up. It's so great. Okay, now, remember we talked about Al Di Meola. He's with Return to Forever, and he put out some solo records. Casino, great one. Electric Rendezvous by Al Di Meola, another really, really good record. And now he's got on here, Steve Gadd's on here, right? Mingo Lewis, Paco de Lucia. He can get a lot of good, really good folks to come on his records. And here we go again, Elegant Gypsy. Another really good jazz fusion type stuff. And we get back into some more Deodato. This is a concert record. It's a live record. Another good one. Chick Corea. This is getting a little bit later now. This is about 1986, right? Electric Band. Now he's got a different band, Chick does. And he's got Scott Henderson on guitar, Carlos Rios on guitar, and he's got acoustic electric drums, Dave Weckel and John Pasciuti on electric bass. But he's in good band, really good, tight, great record. Electric Band. Now here's still with Return to Forever. This is another Chick Corea record, Return to Forever record, I should say. But Flora Plurum's on here, and she sings 500 Miles High. I just love that 500 Miles High. If you want to search out Return to Forever 500 Miles High and listen to Flora sing on there, yeah. A lot of good jazz stuff on there. And we have another Return to Forever with Chick Corea. And Al Di Meola, Stanley Clarke, Chick Corea, Lenny White. You know, that lineup that first for most of the Billy Cobham. Here's another Billy Cobham record, Crosswinds. Really, this is another really good record. Pleasant Pheasant, Heather, Crosswinds on here, Spanish Moss. Jan Abercrombie's on the guitars, Michael Brecker on the bends. You got the Brecker brothers again, and George Duke on the keyboards. E. Pastor on the Latin percussion. Yeah, how can you go wrong with a record like that? Here's another Stanley Clarke. This I think was his second solo record that came out. Another really good record. And who's you got on here? Chick Corea, George Duke, Jeff Beck, you know. Yeah, good record. Now, remember Joe Sample we talked about before? He was on that Donald Byrd Ethiopian Nights record. This band doesn't get very much love. The Crusaders, or the Jazz Crusaders. These guys are great. This is a double record that came out in, I think, 73 or so, that I bought in 73. And this is Japanese. A lot of these records don't have the OBs on it, but most of them are Japanese pressings, just like this one. Because when they're hard to get in the first place, and it's really hard to get the OB, and so I'm going to get it however I can get it, right? Now these, I bought this. See, it's got a little punch hole. I bought this at Kmart back in probably 72 or 3, maybe 4. It's on that Blue Thumb Records label. And like I was saying before, Wayne Henderson's on the trombone, Welton Feller the tenor saxophone, Joe Sample's on keyboards, and Stick Hooper on the drums. And this is mostly all instrumental stuff. And they'll also have Larry Carlton on the guitar. Now Larry Carlton can really play the guitar, and he's got kind of that, you know, rock style of guitar playing, mixed in with these guys doing their jazz funky stuff that they do. Really good. Again, another one with the punch hole that I bought at Kmart when it came out, probably. Well, it was, you know, that was deleted that year. And Joe Sample again on the keyboards, folks. Really good. And Larry Carlton's on the guitar. And Wayne Henderson on the trombones, keyboards, drums. Really good. Here's the one I've got. Got this nice Japan press here. And this record here is an OG, but it's on the black MCA Rainbow label. I mean, this thing sounds like a direct-to-disc record. It sounds fantastic. Can't believe how great this record is. When you get those OG presses out of Japan. PFM Cook, little Italian prog. PFM Cook, check it out. Good record. Here's a Herbie Hancock Sexton. Now they're getting a little bit away from, this is kind of more a progressive kind of a jazz stuff. Not so much fusion. Yeah, kind of a progressive jazz. What do I mean by that? Well, of course, you know, Herbie Hancock is playing all the Fender Rhodes and the Mellotron and the Steinway piano and all that. But he's got bass clarinet, and Herbie Hancock's doing hand clapping in there. They got a lot of hand clap going on. Got a piccolo in here. We got a hamazoo. We got flugelhorns and trumpets, of course. Cowbell. Fender electric bass with wah-wah and fuzz. And then we got this other fellow playing the ARP synthesizer. So yeah, it's pretty out there kind of stuff. But I really like it. Yeah, it's good. Herbie Hancock does a good job on this record to put all that stuff together. Kind of weird kind of stuff going on, but it's still very musical. And it's a good listen. Really enjoyable. Then we've got John Tropea. Kind of like that Elmar Deodato. You know, John Tropea is the guitar player for Elmar. And that's what I really like about the Deodato is the guitar playing and the big old long guitar solos. So Tropea basically, you know, made the big productions with the strings and the horns and all that stuff. And, you know, Steve Gadd's on the drums. And he just does a really good job. And they got the long guitar solos on there. So it's probably one of those records. I'm not sure if it's popular or not, but I don't imagine it would be very valuable. You know, you could probably pick it up pretty cheap. Then you got Larry Coryell with the 11th House. And those fellows are Randy Breckers on the trumpet, Alfo Manzo on percussion, Larry Coryell on the guitar, of course, really good guitar player, Mike Mandel on the piano and synthesizers, and Danny Triffin's on the bass. Yeah, very good. 11th House. And I picked this up. It's the Essential Larry Coryell. It, of course, is a compilation and good way to economize and pick up a lot of really good Larry Coryell and 11th House stuff. Here's another Herbie Hancock record. This one is called Thrust. And it's a little bit more like kind of in between Sextet and Headhunters, kind of in between those two kind of styles. Of course, Herbie Hancock's doing about 4 or 5 different synthesizers on here. And then we got percussion, electric bass, soprano and tenor saxophones, and bass clarinet and alto flute. Some of them out there sounds, folks. Tom Scott, and the LA Express. This is a little bit more laid back now. You don't have piccolo and hand clap and hamazoo and ARP synthesizers. Well, I know you actually do have a little bit of synthesizer on here. Yeah, we got the ARP synthesizer, but Tom Scott's doing the saxophones and the woodwinds. And then you got Robin Ford on the acoustic and electric guitars, Max Bennett on bass. Joni Mitchell's even on here with a poem. Larry Nash, electric piano and organ. Yeah, good record, good straight up, kind of laid back more. A little bit of fusion in there, but mostly kind of jazz. And here's another one that I have by Tom Scott and the LA Express. It's a good record, folks. And the back, check out the little patch on the jeans. Jerry Goodman, we talked about him before. He's the violin player. And he's over here with Jan Hammer. You know, Jan Hammer's going to cook. And that guy's got to keep up. And he does. Makes a great record. So, you know, like I said, a lot of these guys, when they get into bands, they're a good player, but when they get together with a lot of these great guys that just just let her rip, they trying to keep up. Hey, you're not going to pass me on this, and they make for such good records. And here's another really good Jan Hammer record that I have. It's probably Jan Hammer, but, you know, we're over here in Georgia. We're calling him Jan Hammer. Love the record. Good stuff. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And, you know, if you hung around this long, I want to thank you very much for watching the whole video. And don't forget to write some of these names down. Go on YouTube, have a listen to some of this stuff. It might be not in your wheelhouse, and then you might learn a couple things, you know, that you might want to pick up. Especially those top 10 great jazz fusion records that I really, really love. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Like I've been saying, it's free. You might as well do it anyway. And then put a like on the video, folks. Bye for now.